Hello, world. Thank you for joining in again, either live or on the recording later on. I promised last time to put this on YouTube. I'm quite not there yet. I will have that done by the end of this month. So in the next, will be done in the next 2 weeks. Today, the last couple of last two streams we focused on general, in the last streams in general, we focused a lot on source generators. This time we are still doing something related to source generators, but not exactly. So we'll be building a template today, a .NET New template, which then may be used. No, hold on. So we will be building a .NET New template with which we then create a template for a Roslyn Generator to kickstart somebody's, perhaps your, source generator project. So we're going to have a look at what is .NET New in general, what are templates for .NET New, how can we create and also publish these templates, and the larger part of the session will be building actually the Roslyn Generator template. I would like to shout out this session. It's hosted by JetBrains, or it was hosted by JetBrains, where Oya basically inspired me to do, indirectly inspired me to explore .NET New templates. You can watch the recording on YouTube. I found it inspiring, and it's got me kickstarted with .NET New templates. And also there is a second session by Saeed, which also contains a lot of details
We are
about how to
live.
create a .NET New template for yourself. And additionally, there is a from Microsoft a video series on how to create templates as well. So there's a lot of content if you want to dive deeper into that. So what is .NET New? It's one of the commands in the .NET SDK, and it allows us to create new either items or projects based on a template. And there is already some included in the .NET SDK. So let's fire up our Windows terminal and let's explore .NET New. So we can say .NET New --help to see what the commands are. For example, we can list available templates. Let's have a look at that. .NET New list. And here we see all the templates which are per default included in the .NET SDK, in this case the .NET 6 SDK. So we have, for example, a console application. Let's have a look at that, what this one does. Let's bring a let's create here a test folder and create a new template here. Let's do, actually, let me navigate this one here. Yes, .NET New. And we can now enter the short name. So here's the short name, and the short name for a console application is just console. We see there's also different languages available, so we could create it for C#. It's in those brackets, that means it's the default. Also for F# and Visual Basic. And here are some tags. So let's use this name, console, and do .NET New console, which now has created program CS, a CS proj, because the name of the CS proj is test, because it's the parent folder's name. If we can also pass our own name, we could Then if I do .NET new console -o for output, I could call it my app. And if I now jump to the directory again, we see now it has the name my app. It's also now created in an output folder. If I don't, so actually, yeah, with the -o or -- output, we create it in a folder. If I don't want to have it, if I don't want to create the folder, I can, instead of -o, which is a shorthand for -- output, I could say -- name, or in short, just -n, where, oh, it still creates the folder. Okay. I thought, well, that's, I guess, my misunderstanding. So we have the folder my app, and here we have the my app CS purge with a program CS. And if we inspect these, let's open VS Code. And have a look at these files. In the CS purge, we see it's an exe, .NET 6, implicit usings are enabled, nullable is enabled. There's the new .NET 6 template. And it's basically just a Hello World app. If we run that, we will get to, so I need to switch to the folder, of course, to the my app folder. There is a CS purge, .NET 1, and it will print Hello World to the console. There is many more templates, so you can have a look at and explore them. .NET new -- list. For example, plenty of ASP.NET Core templates. I personally also started a project with Blazor WebAssembly. We also have unit test projects, either NUnit. There's also an XUnit template, and where is the MS Test template? There is the MS Test template. So a lot of templates. Now, Nuget, we can download and install additional templates. So in this discussion, I will post this into the chat. We can go to nuget.org. So in this discussion is all the links, all the resources that I will be using. And we can start searching and filter. We can filter, if I click the filter button here, we can filter either by dependencies, which are regular packages, which contain types and classes, structs, and so on. Either a .NET tool, we could install a global tool or a local tool. Perhaps we will build one in a future episode. We will definitely build one in a future episode. But today we're exploring templates. So we can filter by templates, and now we see all the projects, or the most used, the most downloaded projects, which contain .NET New or templates for .NET New. So we could also search for them. I will be now actually searching for one that I built previously, the F0 templates, and we could install it via this command, .NET New install, name of the template, and optionally, we can pass the version of the Nuget package after the double colon. If we omit that, we will get the latest stable version. There is also .NET New Azure Websites.net, which is a browser exclusively for templates. So it doesn't browse other Nuget packages, but it browses templates more specifically. For example, if I now go to F0 templates here, we will see way more information. For example, we will see, because it's actually a template pack that is pushed via Nuget, so it contains one or many templates. In this case, I actually published 3 templates in this one Nuget package, and we see, for example, that this has the tag item. So these are item templates. Today we will going to be building either a project template or a solution template, not sure yet. And we can then explore this and see also like example usage. So this is actually all within the Nuget package, within the template. There's a template JSON which basically defines how the template is structured and what commands and what options it allows. And this tool is parsing that and putting out this information immediately. So let's install this template. We can go back to our command line. Let's jump to the parent folder and do .NET new -- install, or for short -I, and then the name of the template. Now it says it will be installed, and it also lists all those 3 templates that are contained in this template pack, and also how to use them via the short name. So we could, for example, because I was for each and every project I was creating, I was always adding a directory.build.props, where I was setting my most favorite setting is setting warnings as errors for non-debug build or for release builds, and always did this manually. So then, inspired by Oya's talk, I then built a template to automate that process. So we can now say .NET new, the short name of this template, directory.build.props. We could also say --help, because this template offers some additional options, how to basically configure what item then will be created. But for now, we will create the default, and it says this file was now created successfully. And if we go to the file explorer, we will see, oh, I created it in the root. I don't want to create it there. I want to create it here. And there it is, directory.build.props. And if we have a look at this file in Visual Studio, this is what the template contains. It actually really just contains this, what I'm using all the time. If the configuration is release, we treat warnings as errors. Here actually exclude 2, which I still keep as warnings, or this directory.build.props still keeps it as warnings. They are related to obsolete. So when I'm using something obsolete, I still want to be this as a warning and not as a compile error. For information, a directory.build.props file is something that is picked up automatically by MS-Build. So if we have a project, actually let's jump to an example. Did I just delete it? I did not mean to. No, there it is. But let me briefly think that again. Add repository. So I removed it from my GitHub desktop application. Let me add it again. Add existing repository. It's here. Templates. Yes, there it is again. I meant to discard all changes, not remove that. So yeah, there we are. So for example, I have here a directory.build.props file, which is now picked up by any project. So if I jump deeper into the file structure, here we now have a CS_proj. And if I build that, MS-Build is automatically searching for the first directory.build.props file. It needs to have exactly this name in the folder hierarchy. it searches the first one it finds. So here there is no directory.build.props, so it jumps one up. Here is the first directory.build.props, so it will find this one and will stop searching. And if I still want to continue searching with this msbuild import statement, I can basically continue the search until the next file is found. And then this one is picked up. And since this is now empty, this process will stop. So we can put commonly shared properties in a directory.build.props file. The same exists also for targets, directory.build.targets, which is imported a little bit later in the build process. And if we would like to uninstall a template again, we can say .NET new --uninstall or -u for short. And we see, I believe this is the standard template package that comes with the SDK. And here is the one that we just installed. And we get here the uninstall command. So we can paste it in here. So it was successfully uninstalled. And if I would now list --list them again, they will not appear in this list anymore. They have now been uninstalled. And yeah, so this is basically how we can explore or how we can search for and install and use new .NET templates, either from nuget.org or some other Nuget repository. So how can we create our own template pack? If we have a look, let me open the solution. There is a well-known folder name, and in this well-known folder name needs to be well-known file names. And if they exist, then if we do a .NET pack, this will be considered as a template. Or this may be packed as a template. So for example, I have here the project. And actually, let me expand this, and we see the folder structure. So this is the template that we just saw. This is the file, this is the source file that we create this project from. What we see here, we have here some ifs, which depending on the option, we could have set the multi-level merge option. We didn't do that. If we would pass this option, then this would be part of the generated file. But since we omitted it, we just outputted the default. And if we have a look at the folder structure, we have here a templates directory. Then we have, I called it directory -build-props. And now this becomes a template because there is a .template.config folder. And within this .template.config folder, we have a template.json. And if that exists, everything above or in that level of that directory, so everything in here, excluding the template.config, will now be part of the template. So in our case, just this one file. And this template JSON, if we have a look at it, there are some required values, there are some optional values. But what we see here is, for example, we have a schema. This helps us with auto-completion. So I see everything which is possible, and we get warnings if we violate that schema. We have some classification, an identity, name. Here are the symbols that we could use. For example, the multi-level merge. Actually, let's then install it again and try that to see that in action. And also, but that file is optional. So the template.json is required, contains the basic information and additional information, how the template is working and how options are offered. And additionally, there is a .NET CLI.host.json. This one is optional. And in this one, we can give a better experience for CLI consumers. where we, for example, have this multi-level merge, where we said, okay, this multi-level merge option should have the long name multi-level merge. That means I can write dash dash multi dash level dash merge. And short name, this is optional if we want to add a short name. In that case, that would be just a single dash MLM. So let's actually try that again. Let's jump to the test folder here. I just have my app. Let's remove that from previously. Opening up CLI again, install .NET new, install, dash dash install, fco.templates. I had a typo. Again. Templates, yes. And .NET new short name of the template, dash dash help. This is now what we see. We see the dash MLM and dash dash multi-level merge. So from the template, we define the option multi-level merge that we can now use in the template. For example, here we have this if multi-level merge. But to give a nicer experience to the user, we can now in the .NET CLI JSON, we can replace this, or basically offer a CLI experience to this multi-level merge and set here both the long name and the short name. And this is now what we see in the console. So we have here the short name and the long name. Then we will be creating this again. Now with the dash MLM, the multi-level merge. And when we inspect this file, it's created just again in VS Code. We now see that we have only this multi-level merge because this is basically how I defined it. We could have both actually I should do that. I should make this additional, not exclusive. So if we have the multi-level merge, then still have the no warnings as errors. But basically, this is how you could, however you define the template with additional options. So you don't have like for every combination possible need to have a separate template, but can have one template with where you can then offer additional options too. Like for example, if we have a look at the .NET new list dash list at one of the web, for example, Blazor Resin .NET new Blazor Resin dash help. There is a lot of options. How we can basically configure the template that we want to start with our project. There is also, I haven't showed that just yet, there is also another file which, so this .NET CLI host is basically an additional file for the CLI. But templates may also be included in, for example, in the IDE, for example, Visual Studio or wider. And there is an additional file. I haven't used that yet, but we will explore that today. How we can give a nicer experience for an IDE user, how to consume and configure the template. But we will see this later. Me as well, I never used this actually. Yeah, so this is the basics of a template. And we will build on that and now create our own template, which should create a generator starter. Let me have a look at the link. So I put a lot of resources there. There is from the Microsoft Docs a tutorial on how to get started. It explains again that where is it that it needs to have how this template.config folder and the template JSON needs to be existing. And here are the required parameters. Here, for example, we have tags, the C# tag. This is also what we saw in the CLI earlier. And this is an item template. An item template usually creates one item, or could also create perhaps multiple items, but usually creates one item. Then the type could also be project. which then would create the CS proj, for example, like the the console app, the Hello World app that we created. And a newer additional type, I'm not sure when it has been added, I think a year ago or something, is a solution template. I never tried that, but this is also that we can explore perhaps today. I think a solution seems to be the best combination, because in the template, I would like to have both a production project and also a test project. Yeah, there is also this, the .NET templating. This is the repository of the templating engine that is running behind in order to enable the .NET New experience. And it also links to several templates, such as the ASP.NET Core templates, where I would like to get inspired by them. So I would like to stick to well-known defaults and pick the best segments of the fitting segments of already existing templates. Yes, and the rest we will explore later on. So, do I need this test again? Let me delete that. And let's jump to the folder structure and start our project here. Actually, yeah, I mentioned inspiration. I would like to offer a experience which is close to the already existing experience on how to create an analyzer, since that's also Roslyn. If we are in Visual Studio, let's create, let me fire up a new window. Let's create a new, oops, I closed, there it is. Let's create a new project. And if we have the Roslyn SDK installed with Visual Studio, then we can select in these templates. So this is, some of those templates are part of the SDK, of the .NET SDK. Some of them are parts of Visual Studio. And we do have the Roslyn. If we have for Visual Studio the Roslyn SDK installed, we have here a Roslyn type. And this contains 3 templates. And one of those templates is, this is actually how I got started with Roslyn 2 years ago, by starting with this template. It's an analyzer with a code fix. I hit escape. Yes. And I would like to build something which is close to that. So that, because maybe some people know this template already, and then the experience with the generator template, which is also Roslyn, would be then quite familiar already, or could be quite familiar. So let us create this. In GitHub. Here, where is the template? Templates. Let's do it in test here. Select folder. The name, yeah, this is analyzer 1, is fine. Let's create that. And there we are. So let's see what we need. So this project consists of the analyzer and also a code fix project. Since we will only need one, a generator project, I will get rid of the code fixes. We will not be needing that. And this package suggests to have a separate package project, which actually is the Nuget package, and the other one is just the exclusively contains the generator. So I would like to stick with this experience. And we also have a test project. Excellent. But the V6, so that's for Visual Studio extension. This does not really make sense for us generator. So I also don't want to have a Visual Studio extension. This should be a .NET experience that works with any .NET tooling. Okay, cool. So yeah, I will keep this open and pick some of these as we need. So let's jump back to the actual generator project where we are here. It's source, production, templates, and here are the templates. So let's create a new folder here. It's a generator, Roslyn Generator. It's the Roslyn Generator template, perhaps. And in here, we now need the get started with the. Let's jump to tutorials. I always forget the name of the folder, .template.config folder. So let's create that. And in here, we need a template.json. Excellent. And outside of this, or in the same hierarchy as this .templates.config folder, we now will create our template. So let's start with the solution. And let's actually create that. Where are we? Just the test folder. Let's create a new tab. Jump in here. And let's create a solution here. .NET new SLN. So a solution file is also available as a template in the .NET new experience. Also an item template just creates a solution. Great. This is a perfect start. Let me open the folder here. How does this structure look like? So this structure has the solution, has in there a folder, and has then the projects. But I would like to omit this folder, but have the projects directly in here. Okay, so we will have a .test and a .package folder as well. Okay, cool. So we will be creating first the generator project, add new project. This will be we will start out with just a general library. So this will be a .NET standard class library, which has that name. Next needs to be net standard 2.0. Okay, should I create the package? Yes, let's create the package as well. This is also a class library dot package. Net standard 2.0. Yes. And we're not gonna need the class one here. Let's also remove it from here. And the test project, of course. Should we start? Let's start with what should be the default? MS test NUnit or XUnit. Again, I will have a look at the one created by the Visual Studio experience. What testing framework do they use per default? They do use MS test. So I would also like to start with MS test here. Dot tests. They call it dot test in their template. So let's stick with that. This will be .NET 6. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So we have the basic structure ready. Let's add a generator. So we will have how would we call our generator? I will call it my generator. My generator. And we will also have, what's the name of the tests? They call it unit tests. So let's do the same. We will call this my generator unit tests. Yes, please rename. Is it? Yes. Okay. And for the package, what we need for the package, we will figure out later on. So that we get the project structure right, let's instantiate this for now here briefly to see. Oh, is this one internal? This one is internal. So we need to make the internals visible to the test project actually. I wonder if this project contains that. No, it does not. But I would like to do that, which I will take from a source generator project that I built before already. How did I make the internals visible to there? I did it via properties. Okay, but actually I would like to do this via an MS build task. No, not that MS build task, but an MS build property. I always forget how this works. So I will have a look at this previously in another project. There it is. So we can set an MS build property in the CS project and make the internals visible to another project. I always forget how this is done. Where is it? It's here. So I will copy this. Okay, then we can close this project. Jump back to our template project. Go in here, paste it. We only need this one, and we can say we want to make the internals visible to the. Let's copy the name, then I avoid a typo. To the Roslyn Generator template.test. Okay, so we should now be able to control dot this and instantiate this type. No, okay, well then I add this dependency manually. Add project reference to template project. And there we go. Okay, so that structure is set up, and also the package should also reference this project. Excellent. Okay, so we now have a generator. What's one part that I would like to achieve here is to offer multiple options of this generator. So I basically opened a issue myself for here, and this generator should create a generator for 3.8, for 3.9, and for 4.0 of Roslyn. Because source generators have been introduced in 3.8. Actually, they were available, I think, since Roslyn 3.6 already, but in preview and there were some breaking changes. So we basically can start using them with 3.8, which is a .NET 5 SDK. Then there has been a little bit of an update in 3.9, and there has been a major update in 4.0. And 4.0 is the .NET 6 SDK. So in 3.9, there was added the register for post initialization, and in 4.0, incremental source generators have been added. So the 3.8 version should be quite default. Then the 3.9 version should use of this new post initialization, and the 4.0 then, instead of a source generator, should be an incremental generator. So actually, I would like to start with a. Should I start with the incremental generator? No, let's start with the basic, with the source generator. Start from the beginning. So I make this class sealed and derive from I source generator. Of course, I'm missing the correct package. I will take that from an already existing generator that I built, so that I'm using the right one. Actually, I should. What else do I need from there? Let's get this right away. I would like to use multi-targeting here to have both the .NET Standard. We will be using .NET Standard in order to publish the package, but I also want to have the .NET 6 target to have the latest annotations of the .NET BCL regarding nullable reference types available. Then we will be needing this. So I want this not to be packable, but I want the package actually to be packable. So let's put this in here. This is packable true, but the project itself is not packable. And we have these 3 properties where we do not include the build output. We suppress dependencies when packing because a generator project, or in general a Roslyn Nuget package, shouldn't be depending on doesn't offer dependencies such as or different target frameworks such as Net Standard 1 or Net Standard 2, Net Core 6, because it's always a Net Standard 2 project, and it doesn't offer dependencies. It's a compiler plugin, so there aren't really dependencies to take care of. And I want to mark the development dependency as true, so that when this package is installed, then it does the private assets all per default, because a Roslyn package shouldn't, per default, this dependency shouldn't flow to in the hierarchy tree. And actually, I did a mistake. They should be added in the package project, of course. Ran into a problem. Let's reload. Okay. Cool. What else do we need? Let's jump to the project. So we can have here some Nuget settings. But what I would like to add is the Is Roslyn component. This facilitates testing later on. So this is used for testing, to tell the testing. Well, I'm not sure, but Visual Studio knows this is a Roslyn component and then handles testing if we want to debug it differently. And here are a couple of dependencies. We'll be not needing all of them. We should have those 2. So we have the C# workspaces, which then is basically depending on Microsoft.codeanalysis.common, which includes the generators. And also analyzers. This is always nice to have when doing something with Roslyn. This is an analyzer package which analyzes my analyzers. So how to write source generators and analyzers code fixes correctly. We'll be starting with version 3.8.0, and here always important, private assets all. What else do we need? We will not needing this, not be needing that. This, I guess, we need for packing. So I'm not sure if this is right just yet, but I'll put it in here to not forget it later on. Okay, this should be it. So we should now be able to control dot here and use source generator here. Actually, now it comes about compatibility. Actually, I want to offer the template with C# 10, but that requires the .NET 6 SDK. Now, source generators are also working in .NET 5, but The .NET 5 SDK or .NET 5 in general, I think, is running out of support quite soon. Let's go to the .NET blog. I think there was a blog post just recently. Yeah, 2 days ago. So .NET 5 will reach end of support in May 8th. So that's in about 40 days. I guess it's fine then to ditch supporting .NET 5 and C# 9. So I want to write everything with C# 10. I want to use file scope namespaces. Yes. Okay, let's implement the source generator. So we have an execute, an initialize, and an execute. Remove unnecessary usings. Yes. In the initialize, let's start quite simple. Let's do we need syntax notification? We don't actually need that just yet. We'll have a look at this later. I will just in execute phase generate source, a very simple source, add sources. The first parameter is the hint name, so this will be then the name of the file. Let's call it example.g.cs. The G indicates that this is a generated file. And let's add this auto-generated header. I always forget how this is written correctly. Let me go to .NET, no, C#. Where do I put this? Where do I get this always from? Nullable reference types. Dash. It's auto. There it is. Yes. So when we start with an auto-generated at the top of the file. So let's start with that. Oops. Comment, of course. Comment. Boom. Of course, this needs to be a string. Yes. Okay. So let's add a test for that. In my generator test. Now I will be jumping to the source generator cookbook because they describe here how to do testing generators. We said that we will start with the MS test package for now. So let me add this package. We go to test project, browse for this testing package, install it in the latest version 1.1.1. Ooh, that's cool. I'm not sure if I'm using this already in the other projects. The latest version. Okay. And accept. Also want to get the basic stub on how to do testing. But again, let's jump to the other project, to the analyzer template, how Microsoft is suggesting it to do in here. In the test project, they do have a verifiers folder where they put the verifiers in. So I want to have the same thing. I will copy for our template, the verifiers folder. Let's put it in there. And this now contains, let's jump to the cookbook, a C# source generator verifier. That sounds great. Let's add it in here. And let's copy its content. We would like to do file scope namespaces. Okay. We of course have the MS test verifier. How is it called? Let's jump to the analyzer project. It's the, where do they use it? It's in here, the MS test verifier. Yes. Let's use that. Let's make that sealed. Okay. We need immutable. We need system. Okay. Perhaps I would like to put the property just below the constructor. Okay, so we got that setup going. Now we can consume that. Let's again jump to the cookbook. Cookbook suggests to add this to the test file that we will be doing. A static using of this verifier. Perhaps I should I? Ditch the verifier's namespace here. So that we can reference it directly. So no, we are not in the namespace. No, actually that was cool. We just need to have the full name. We need to be using, yeah, we could shorten this to have a using up here. Using, okay. Oh, we cannot. Okay, well, then we have the full name here. And this will be now my, not your generator. This is my generator. Okay. And we can now be using it. How do they suggest to do it? I will copy this in here. Formatting is a little bit off. This needs to be an async task. Oh, there is a semicolon missing actually. Okay, here again, this is my generator. We need encoding. And we need writing. Okay. I have mixed tabs and spaces. I'm getting rid of these. Okay. I prefer tabs personally. But I think this is because there's a template, the templating engine then will be using the consumer's favorite depending on the setting or on the editor config which may be present. Okay, so we have initial code, we have expected generated code. For expected generated code, we expect the auto-generated header. So this will be / auto-generated. We just generated every time, so our initial code is empty. Let's run this test and see how it's doing. Ooh, I have a build error because file scope namespaces is not available in C#3. Okay, that's because .NET Standard 2.0, the default language version, source generators need to be, or any analyzer where a Roslyn Generator is also an analyzer, need to be .NET Standard 2.0 for compatibility reasons with Visual Studio, because Visual Studio is running on .NET Framework, and .NET Standard 2.0 is the highest version which still supports .NET Framework. .NET Standard 2.1 is not supporting .NET Framework anymore. So we need .NET Standard 2.0, but the let's go to C# language version. The default language version is 7.3 of .NET Standard 2.0. There we see it. .NET Standard 2.0, default language is 7.3. But we will want to be using C# 10. Since we assume, basically this is a requirement, this template is working with the .NET 6 SDK, we can now make use of the directory.build.props. I go up the file hierarchy, go to the first directory.build.props. Have a look at this. It doesn't fit in here, but it searches the next one. I think this one is the way to go. Yes, I want to put here. So we can add a property group in here and set the language version here to, I think default would be then the one which is used by the SDK, but let me look this up. There is preview, latest major, default. Yes, I would like to use default in here. Let's format it a little bit. When we save that and we build it, now the warning should go away, and it does. It succeeded. So now we should be able to run the test that we have. And it fails because we expected SHA-256, but it actually was SHA-1. Okay, so perhaps a bit of a explanation. We create here the test class. We set the test state, the original source, and the generated source that we expect. Here we say the type of which generator should generate this. Here should be the generated file name, so this should also still be an error. And then we put in this generated source in here with UTF-8 encoding, and there is the SHA. I think default from source text from is actually SHA1. So yeah, let's just get rid of that. This should fix that issue. Now I expect actually it to fail because I think we called it, how do we call it? Example.g.cs. So this should be now the issue. Yeah, so it expected generated file name. Oops. But it actually was example.g.cs. Yeah. So example.g.cs. This is the hint name. And the hint name will also be used via Roslyn in the build step. There is a property that we can set in order to actually really physically put out the file to disk if we want to debug and inspect it. And this hint name will also be used for that, but also for tooling to display it to the user. Okay, and the test is green. Excellent. So we have our very first super basic generator ready. I'm not okay. Now the template is not just right yet. I will again go cheating, go peeking at another project. This will be the. Do I have it in the history? Yes, there it is. Analyzers project. Because this analyzers project is heavily basing on the analyzer Visual Studio template that I would like to use as a. I would like to like to use this template as a template for my template, if this makes sense. So I solved this problem here already. I will, but I forgot how I did it. So I will do some active inspiration from there. If it will load. Well, let's wait until this is let's not wait until this is loading, but let's have a look if we can actually see this being part of a template. Let's jump to the other solution, to the actual template solution. Now we have here our new project, our new template. There is the template.config, and now we need to add here the template definition. I will jump to the documentation. Okay, let's close that. There it is. Let's close the rest. I will be copying this stuff from here. Yeah, this is, I guess, a good start. So we have a schema. Does this apply it already? No, I need to open the file again. Yes, now the schema is applied. Okay. So the author is flash over. This is my name on Nuget. Classification. Classification is when we do .NET new --list is basically the tags here. So we could be using, let's see, what is the console app be using? It's common/console. So there is common such of a group, and then there is a more specific name. So I would like to have a Roslyn/generator, because later on, we could add additional Roslyn templates, such as Roslyn slash what is the last thing that we built? A suppressor, maybe, and so on and so forth. So I'll be starting with Roslyn and generator. I will be I will be formatting it like this. This is how I prefer the formatting. Okay, the identity, this should be something unique. I will go peek at the other definition. I started with f0 templates dot and then the name. So this will be f0 templates, name of the package dot. Let's do Roslyn Generator template. So there is no real scheme for that, but it should be unique. The name, this is a Roslyn Generator. And the short name, this is the one that we'll be using in order to create it. Let's call it Rost. Do we just have generator maybe? Generate, or is this too? Maybe this may conflict with other templates. Let's do Roslyn Generator. Okay, tags. Yeah, tags, we can set the language. Language is C#, but the type, it's not an item template. This is a solution template. I never did this before. Let's see if there is some caveats to that. Now we could be adding way more, but let's omit that for now. Let's see if we can work with that. I will open yet another command line. No, I'm here already, aren't I? If I hit ls, yes. So we're here in the directory where we have the templates config, and we can install a template also from this directory. So the source not necessarily needs to be Nuget. We can actually install it from this directory directly. So we can say .NET new -i for install, and then just set the current directory. And there we have it. It's installed the template with there was a generator, the language is C#. Here's the tag. It looks great. So let's use it. .NET new, or let's see if it's actually in the list. If I do .NET new list, it should show up here. There it is. So it was not generator. So we were using .NET new Roslyn Generator, and it fails. Because it's used by another process. Okay, so I'm packing all of that. I should be omitting the VS folder. I think there is more that I should exclude actually from the template, because the template actually packs everything which is in this folder folder hierarchy. So if we have a look at this, I got a new follower, Ninjus94. Thank you very much for following. Where was I? Yes. So I'm also packing the .vs folder and the test results folder. Okay, they should be excluded. This is possible, but I don't know it by heart. I need to look that one up. I hope that is that in the wiki, how to create templates? No. Section registry, available source, testing your templates, choosing a good source name. I will actually have a look at the example at how the ASP.NET Core templates are built. So we can go to ASP.NET Core repository, project templates. There is web project templates. There is some content, and what I'm using a lot of time at my day job is web APIs. So I'm quite familiar with the template itself. I'm not familiar with how it looks, how it's actually built from. Let's have a look at the template config here. There's the template JSON. Maybe they have some excluding there as well. Search for exclude. That's different. That's not the excludes. Not the excludes that I'm searching for. Okay, I can't find it here. Let's jump to the example from the talk that I've mentioned. Because there is also maybe on the YouTube recording a link to the repository. There it is. And because I believe it was mentioned in this talk, if I remember correctly. Yes, there they are. So we will be needing sources. Then we have modifiers and exclude there. We could also conditionally exclude, but the VS folder, there it is, the VS folder. And you also need the test results folder be excluded. So this will be, okay, this crashes. That's unfortunate. Close the program. I will come back to this later. Go to our template, Json, and I have it on second screen here. We need sources. Then we are opening brackets and the braces. Okay. And in here we now say we add a modifiers, which is an array of objects. Okay, I couldn't do this with this. The schema here is super helpful. And the modifiers now have an exclude, okay? And this is an array of the items. It could either be a string, we see that. It could either be a string, so one item that we exclude, or a collection of items that we exclude. And here we now, I'm actually copying this from Hoyer's example. Star star .vs. I should also then test this if I open this with Rider. I will do this later on. I will also need perhaps some, is it the .idea folder, I believe. But I will come to that. Actually, I don't think I need that. We can start from the root. It's actually mentioned in the example, so I will add this right away, the idea folder that's from Rider, or in general, the JetBrains tooling. And we also would like to ignore the test results. This one, yes. So we'll be using test results / star star. Cool. I hope this would exclude it from the package. We can have a look at that actually if we basically pack it. We can pack it as a Nuget package and then have a look at this very Nuget package. CD, let's go in here. We can do a .NET pack. Now this, it fails. Was not added to the package. Files and folders starting with dot or ending with Nuget package are excluded by default. Okay, maybe the exclude is not. Ooh, I'm missing. Do we need to also exclude it from MS Build? We'll have a look at this example again. Is there maybe something in the CS proj that I am missing? There is no CS proj. Okay. Okay. This doesn't seem to. No CS proj solution. So because it's no, I don't know. There's something I'm missing. Okay. process cannot access the file. Oh, because I have the solution open. Do I need to close the solution? We close this solution because that accesses the... Can we .NET Pack now? Okay, still have the warning. I'll have a look at this later. But we could now create this Nuget package. And let's have a look at that. So this will be in bin, debug. There it is. We can open this. I installed on my machine the Nuget Package Explorer. So we can have a look at how this package looks like. We see, well, this Nuget package is an icon. And here are the templates. And if we open it up, okay, it still includes the .vs folder. So the test the test result folder is excluded, but the .vs folder is still in there. Believe I'm making a mistake here. Maybe it was too quick on removing. I think because if I have a look at the example, template conf, there it is. Actually has star. So we maybe need for dot folders, maybe we need the star warhand. So I'll add this again. And also for the, but the isn't added for the idea. So maybe that's a VS thing. Okay. Let's try that again. Let's pack that. Open it up. And it's still there. To include this file. Okay. It warns that so it doesn't add this SU, yeah, but I really want to exclude this entire folder. Am I doing something wrong here? I consider this a bug for now. I will try to figure this out later. Then we ship this as well. Well, it should be removed from the final product, but I may have a look at this later on or off stream what I'm doing wrong here. But the general template should be usable. So let's go to here. Let's .NET new -u. Let's uninstall it again so that we can install the latest version of it. While at it, I will also install this package, so we should have a rather clean state here. Yes, now let's .NET. Are we in the correct directory? Yes, .NET new -i installed. And let's jump to the test. Did we clear it? Not yet. So let's jump to the test folder, remove everything. There is still something open by... So because I should... close that one. Yes. It's empty. .NET new Roslyn Generator has been created successfully. There it is. So the VS file. Oh, okay. So the VS, the .vs folder is included in the package, but it's not. But it's being ignored when exporting it. So I should exclude that from the package because the template is ignoring it and therefore not adding it. So from a template perspective, it's good. From a Nuget perspective, it's not perfect yet. But I'll have a look at this later. But everything else looks good. All the files are there. Let's actually see if we can do a .NET test on that. And we see this one test actually passing. No, because the feature file scope namespaces is not available in C# 7.3. So we'll be needing the language version included in the template, so here's the template. I will be removing that from this directory.build.props where we added it to, and actually make it part of the very template. So in the CS proj here, let's add it. And also in the tests, we'll be needing it. Both ends. Okay, so these are our tests. With nullable enabled, let's also do, what are the default imports? Default imports, global usings. Not sure how this is called. To have the default global usings enabled that come with the SDK. Let's remove the coverlet. Let's have the test SDK. Let's go to a more recent version, 17.1. And okay. And also for here, let's have the default versions there. Okay. Now all the projects are set to C#, or to the default C#. We assume it's at least the .NET 6 SDK, so it will be C# 10, so it should work. When we go to the CLI again, let's perhaps open yet another tab. I will be using this one to uninstall, so we will be doing .NET new-u to uninstall that. Then I jump to the other tab to install it again, have the latest version. And now let's create it again. But I need to make sure it's possible to open the Explorer here. No, not sure how. To go to the tests here, yeah, let's remove that. .NET new Roslyn Generator template created successfully. And now I'm here, so let's do a .NET test. One test was found, or one test file was found, and we have a passing test. That looks very good. Cool. We now have a basic template for a source generator. Now, since this should be about templates this session and not about generators, or not too much about generators, what I will be doing off stream is to make this template a little bit more exciting, to actually generate something as a hello world example. To do generate some hello world code. Not sure yet how. Maybe with an attribute. If an attribute is on a partial method which returns a string, then this method could return hello world, and the generator could implement this. So I will be preparing something like this. Let's have the hello world attribute. Hello world attribute. Well, let's call it the my generator attribute on partial string returning methods. And then the generator adds a hello world returning partial method. Okay, so this would be the 3.8 example. Now I want to have a 3.4 example. Now for that, now we need some configuration. We need some options to set. So I will be jumping to the ASP.NET Core example and see what else I'm missing. Okay, I'm missing the source name. So with the source name, we can basically tell the templating engine which string should be replaced when the user wants to have a custom name. So maybe they don't want to name their project Roslyn Generator template, but something else. So we could now, in our template JSON, add source name and declare this as the source name. So now everything which is called Roslyn Generator template will be replaced. There's also some GUIDs. Prefer name directory. I'm not sure what that is doing. Is there some help perhaps? Yes. That indicates whether to create a directory for the template if name is specified, but an output directory is not set. Yeah, that sounds preferable. So let's set this to true. Or is that the default actually? What's the default? It doesn't say. Let's make it explicit. True, okay. And with GUIDs, we can replace some GUIDs. We'll be actually needing this because, not sure if I'm really familiar with the CSproj format, but no, not the CSproj format, but the solution format. I believe those IDs here, they indicate something. So they should remain unchanged, but these GUIDs here, they should be unique. So I may want to replace these GUIDs. So we'll be adding GUIDs. Let's actually, I hope I understood this GUIDs feature correctly. A list of GUIDs which appear in the template source and should be replaced in the template output. For each GUID listed, a replacement GUID is generated and replaces all occurrences. This is exactly what we want. Okay, so this is a collection of several GUIDs, and we'll be pasting in these 3 so that the template engine will replace them, because they should be unique. Okay. I have a warning here. Is this warning here a bug? Yeah. Some rendering bug. Okay. What else could we use? So the sources, we will be needing that later on. Symbols. Yes, with symbols, we can basically define options. So let's add, where does the sources end? Here, let's add symbols. And this is a collection. This is an object where we basically pass in the symbols. So let's have one for the Roslyn version. Yeah, that's basically the name. Roslyn version colon. Okay, we will be needing a type. This is a parameter. So this will then map to an option in the CLI, or perhaps in an editor, then it will be a text field or maybe a dropdown. So the tab is a parameter. What else do we got? We have a data type. The data type will be set to, that's a choice. I could make this a Boolean, some text, but actually let's do a choice because I want to explicitly offer 3.8, 3.9, and 4.0. And for a choice, okay, there it is actually. It's also using a choice. We can add choices, and each choices is a choice and a description. That sounds cool. So we add choices, and this is a collection of a choice. So the first choice could be, can I set 3.8 here? Or does this need to be an identifier? I believe this needs to be Roslyn 3.8. And there is a display name, a friendly name of the choice to be displayed to the user. Yeah, let's do that 3.8. And there is a description. Well, it's Roslyn 3.8. Yeah, perhaps use Roslyn 3.8.0. Okay, now we need another choice and actually add the third choice as well while we add it. So we have 3.9, which is 3.9, and Roslyn 3.9.0, and we have Roslyn 4.0, which is 4.0 as a display name, and we will be using 4.0.1. This is the actual package version. Okay, great. Now we want to use that. This can be used via preprocessor directives. C# preprocessor directive. Actually, let's have a look at Microsoft is doing it in the template. I will just pick one file here and okay, I picked. There it is. So they have if and then some parameter. But we need to generate this. So we need now we need also another. This is another, what's called another symbol, but this is now not a parameter. This is nothing that the user generates, but this is now a computed one. How do we call that? Yes, do we need booleans? It needs to be a boolean, I believe. So we could do is Roslyn 3.8, and this will be of type computed. I think this is what we are looking for, and a computed value has a condition or some value. Is it a condition? I'm not sure. Let's have a look at how it's done here. Is there computed? Computed? Yes, it has a value, and the value is some expression that is evaluated. Okay, so we could say if the value traces, and we can now refer to another symbol. Let's refer to Roslyn version, and if Roslyn version is I think I can just say 3.8 here. I will be not needing that. Yeah. If this is 3.8, then it's Roslyn 3.8. However, if is Roslyn 3.9 should be true, if Roslyn version is 3.9. And if Roslyn version 4.0 should be true, then it must be 4.0. That looks good. And now we should be able to use it here. So we could be saying if $if and close with an end if $end if is Roslyn 3.9, because if for Roslyn 3.9 we want to be adding. Is this actually working, or should this be, is a point wording here? Should it be an underscore? Perhaps let's use an underscore here. Is Roslyn 3.3 underscore 9. Not sure if a point is working in there. Okay. And This should be true if, because I think this is actually not compiled. Let me open the actual solution. Because now we should see is 3.9. I believe this will cause an error. Yes, yeah, this doesn't work. Points are not allowed in single line comment or end of line expected. Okay, so it needs to be the underscore, yes. And if this is true, we could now also additionally add this post initialization context. Context dot, okay, let's negate this for now that we have auto completion. Context dot, which is the for, yeah, it's not there yet because we actually need to use here the higher version. And now I'm not sure. 3.8. Could this also be some computed value? Could we be using... Well, let's make it simple for now. Let's just add another one and then we conditionally select. But I'm not sure how this is done. So I will again go peek at the template of ASP.NET Core. So somewhere should be a CS proj. There it is. And we basically can just, it seems to be, we just add it as a condition. If condition is true. If condition is true. Okay, let's copy that. And we say we include 3.9. Oh, hello, Matthias. Oh, I'm super glad you're logging by. Thanks for joining in. And thanks for following. Now not trailer fault. Yes, condition. So we'll be using 3.8 if our is Roslyn 3_8 is true. But we will be using Roslyn 3.9 if is Roslyn 3_9 is true. So this now should map. If you have a look at our template, this should now basically map. So if the user selects 3.9, then this computed symbol should be true, which now should enable this. And when we have that, then okay. Now this doesn't really compile for our development experience. Or could we, because I have, this is not defined, or could we add some development experience perhaps per if it condition? Well, we could say if Roslyn, we will have one set. So we could say if we have neither. It's actually working if we say if it is, how can we negate if this is, well, if this is false, if they are all false. Not sure, this is basic. I don't believe this is the most pretty solution, but it may work for now. Or if perhaps it also works without the, no, because we need the false. Or if Roslyn 3.9 is false, let's make a computed property. Let's do it like this for now. We'll refactor it later. So if this is false, actually, or and, so if we have nothing set, and if Roslyn 4.0 is false, then we will be using the latest 4. I think that's 4.1. Let's actually have a look what the really, really latest is. So for our development experience, let's go to nuget.org. Thanks, Matt Koch, for briefly joining by and saying hello. The latest version is, that's a preview version. What's the latest? Stable versions. It's 4.1.0. Okay, let's be 4.1.0. Yeah. Does this compile now? Still doesn't. Unexpected token equals was found. Oh, missing a quote here. This may be fixing the issue, hopefully. Failed, no. Okay, but we now have a... It seems that the other package is not found. Okay, how could we enable... Let's have a brief look at MS build conditionals. Okay, this is how we can negate. Maybe if we do it like this, if it's not this and not that and not that. So because what I'm searching for is having a default if nothing else matches. So for the development experience to still and add this package so we can actually see it compiling. But it again runs into an issue. I am most likely doing something wrong in this build style. So we can and combine them, but we need to. Let me have a brief look at another X project. I have a déjà vu. Okay, it needs to be in single quotes actually. Let's jump back to the template. We need those quotes. Do I now do it like this? I hope so. Okay. Still doesn't work. Okay, I will try to figure this out later. I will for now always add this. This is not good because I'm always adding now the latest version. But for now, this should do the trick. It does not. Oh, this also doesn't seem to work. Okay. How is... Jumping back to the web API example. Thinking that okay, perhaps let's find a different solution. Maybe we can set the version maybe like this. Let's see how they set, so we don't have like conditions here, but actually have the version. Let's see where this is set, this version. Okay, let's keep this file. Can we duplicate the tab? Yes. Jump to the template file. Not sure where this is actually coming from. The Microsoft ASP.NET Core Authentication Bearer version. Maybe it's coming from somewhere outside, not coming from the template itself, I believe. Now we need to solve this with a condition. So I'll copy it again, just to try to get it right. And we say this Roslyn 0.8 and 0.9. Well, this looks right, but it's not. Okay, I will try to figure this out later. I will for now always add the latest version. This doesn't work. I have an issue somewhere else, it seems. Could not be found. Are you missing? But I should now be adding always the latest version. Let's have a look. Does this restore? We have an issue. Let's see if we can do .NET restore. This works in .NET build. Also works. Okay. Maybe I need to restart Visual Studio. Why does Visual Studio? So, because it's the issue is in this project. Because are we causing a mismatch here? Do we also need to specifically define that? Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Assembly with identity template version 1.1. Code analysis version 1.1, which has a higher version than the referenced identity. Yes, but this should be fixed now. When I specifically, so it's not the yeah, okay, it's gone. So now I should be able to, yes, okay. Let's bring back the if Roslyn is Roslyn 3.9, else if and if. Then we want to do the context. Context dot, yeah, there it is. Now we have it. Register for post initialization. So post initialization, this will take an action, generator post initialization context callback. So this is the name I will be giving it. It is the post initialization context. Callback, yes. Let's create this method. Yes, please. And add it in here. Let's put it here. That can be static. Now we can add a context and let's add a file here. Actually, let's do a failing test first. So additionally, we also want to have let's call this post initialization. And here we have the execute. And the post initialization should also have the auto generated in there. And we would expect now both source texts to be generated, but it fails because we expected 3, but actually had 2. So let's go fix it. This is now called execute.g.cs. And in the post initialization step, which has been added in Roslyn 3.9, we can add. So this is basically a source which is unconditionally added, and in the execute, we have access to the compilation and parse options where we can do conditional adding of sources and more contextful adding sources. But in the post-initialization context, we basically have nothing. We can add sources and have a cancellation token. That's it. So we can unconditionally add some sources. Let's again add the auto-generated header, and we say post-initialization.g.cs. Let's run the test. This should now pass unless I have a typo somewhere. Excellent. It passes. Okay. And now I'm wondering, okay, we still need to figure out this. But we could test one thing. If it works, that if we pass the correct language, the correct Roslyn version, that if we have 3.9, we have this, but we don't. If we do not have 3.9, we don't have this. So I should actually guard this one as well. Be mindful about the formatting. So let's do it like this. Okay. Yeah, let's see how this template is now doing. Let's have a look. So let's uninstall previous version. Let's install the new version. Now we should be able to say, let me clear the test directory. And now we should be able to say .NET new Roslyn generator -- help. And we see now, okay, the title is, we still need to, something's wrong with, okay. Now we need the CLI host JSON to give that a name. I will once again jump to the example. There it is. It's the .NET CLI host JSON. We will be adding that, our template. So here's our template solution. In the template config folder, we will be adding this one as well, so that we have a nice CLI experience. JSON. Okay. This is some default JSON. I will copy the one from here, and then we'll remove what we don't need. Open and close so that the schema applies. Okay. Simple info. Yeah, this is all simple. And we have a usage example. Okay, so we are simple info. We can now say that, let me open them side by side. We can say that our symbol Roslyn version, our symbol Roslyn version should have the long name Roslyn-version. Or just Roslyn version. And the short name, just R. Let's start with R. And we can do an example usage. So we could say an example usage of this template would be Roslyn Generator -r. Or let's do the -r 3.9. Okay, let's again uninstall the current version of the package, or of the template, not the package. Install the new version of the template, and let's see what we have in the help. It still does not have the option here. I must have done something wrong. Let's have a look at an existing template. Is the name correct? .NET CLI host, because the name is significant, but it seems right. But it's quite the same. Maybe it's still the old version that it picked up. Did I not save? Perhaps I didn't save. Uninstall. Now the template should be gone. There is no template. Let's install the latest version. Yeah, okay, now it worked. So now we have the option -r or the long name Roslyn version. So we can now say .NET new. Roslyn, we already have it. Roslyn Generator. -r. I should also add a default. What happens if I don't pass anything? We need to take care of a default. -r 3.8. And this should now create it without the post initialization. We now see that the name has been replaced. So that's working with the source name that we added. And if you have a look at the test, at this file, let's open VS Code, put it in, and it's not there. That's as expected. Let's remove it again. Oops, let's remove everything again. But now let's create the template with 3.9. Now I expect that it is there. So let's jump to this file. And it is. And so that's working. So we now have the post initialization. And now depending on the version that we choose, the template is generated, assembled differently. But a big issue is how do we select the correct version here. Need to fix that. But perhaps let's add, because now we can follow that. Let's fix that later. Let's follow that and actually finish the 4.0 version as well. Now the 4.0 version is a totally different generator, because that would be an incremental generator, not a source generator. In previous session, I think 2 sessions ago, we had a deep dive into how they are working and why they are potentially faster, depending on the scenario. So let's add, I will rename the my generator to my source generator, and also the test to my source generator unit tests. And we'll go ahead and now add an additional generator. This will be now my incremental generator that we should only add in version 4.0. So let's again use C# 10 file scope namespaces. This is now, I always like to seal my types, an I incremental generator. Let's add the using. Get rid of unnecessary usings. This only has one method. But before we'll be doing anything here, we need a test. I will copy this one down here and be calling it the my incremental generator unit tests. Okay. This should actually create the very same thing, but it will be using the my incremental generator. I have this twice, I see. Oh no, hold on. That's a different issue. Our verifier now doesn't know how to deal with incremental generators because it's still bound to iSource generator. We fixed this 2 streams ago. This needs to be of I incremental generator. And in here we pass in an empty. I need to go look that up. I already forgot how we did this. So let's jump to a previous version. I think this was in that one where we look at this, and yeah, these are the examples. So, okay, so this will be the incremental generator. We got that right. This is the empty source generator provider. Okay. Ooh, now we also added a new using, I see. So we should guard this using. This should be behind an if. And if this is Roslyn 4.4_0. Of course, we need to guard this as well. So we will be... Okay, there's actually multiple files, so we need this again. Oh, nope. Let me add this again. Bloop. And this. Okay. We have this twice. And we say if Roslyn 4.0, we say here $if is Roslyn 4_0 else, and an end if. Now I have it the wrong way around. Okay, perhaps let's do it like this. If it is not Roslyn 4.0, then end if we use this one. Up here we need the same construct again. If it is Roslyn, if it is not Roslyn 4.0, then we use the source generator. But if it is else, then we use this incremental generator. And if, okay. And additionally, we need to implement another method. Where is it? The get source generators. We also need to guard this, so we can say if is Roslyn 4.0, then we need to add that and if. Okay, because is this correct? Yes. Now let's see. Can I actually define? If I define, how can I define a preprocessor directive? Just for testing, C# preprocessor directives. That's the null. And if is there a define? There it is, define. Just define. We can define is Roslyn 4_0. Cannot define preprocessor after first token. This needs to be the very first line in the source text. Okay. And if we have it defined, we will be using... Does this switch? Doesn't seem to. It is because I just I'm missing an is here. There we go. Okay, so if we define Roslyn 4.0, we use incremental generators, we use this setup, and we need also an enumerable. Okay, and we have this method. But if we don't, okay, where's the enumerable? That's in system collection generic. So we need to be guarding this as well. We only need this using if we are on 4.0. Okay. And if we do not define that, now we should use the source generator version. So we have source generator, and this method is not included. Excellent. Perhaps we want to have the new line like so. I think that's it. And now we could, so if we do, let's define it again. Define is Roslyn 4.0. We should now be able to write our test as such. Could be. do we need to? Perhaps we also have just one unit test. Should we have two different unit test files? Yeah, okay. I will be also adding this guard here. If Roslyn or 0, and if, and here we say if it is not is Roslyn 4_0, and if. Okay. Do I need to define? I need to define it in every file for testing. Okay, let's do that. So let's say for now we have we define for 0. I'm missing an is here. Okay, that means that these tests are disabled. We have the incremental version of these, and now we should be able to run this test. There should be only one test. Test method 1, yeah, is all right for now, and it fails because, yeah, we're not generating anything. Actual 1, expected 3. So let's implement the myIncremental generator. We context register source output, and also context.register post initialization output. For the post initialization output, it seems now that I can pronounce that. Initialization, post initialization. Okay. Post initialization callback. That's pretty much the same as in the previous example. So we will be having a context here and say context.addSource. We will be having our post initialization initialization.g.cs, where we will be adding the, let's copy that from, actually, let's copy this entire thing. Okay, and you have the register source output. Now this needs an incremental values provider and an action. Okay, I think we can be going with, let's pass in the compilation provider for now. And this will be our, what's this action called? The source production action. Source production action. Actually, in the other generator, it's called execute. So perhaps let's stick with the execute name here. No, let's have the other name because it's a different concept. This may be confusing. And we would like to also, yeah, then later on apply the very same more exciting example here. But for now, we can say context. This is usually called sources. Okay. Now we don't be needing this using, and we should be able to run this test successfully. And we do. Oh, no, I don't see it here. I see it here. Excellent. Okay. Now, but we only need to add. So if we don't define this anymore, the other thing will be active. Oops. And okay, we also need to be moving here. And now if we want to test again, now this one is executed. So the regular source generator test, it's failing because we expect 3, but actually have 2. That's true because the post initialization is only there if we are at Roslyn 3.9. And if Cool. So we now have the basic stub ready for all our 3 versions of our generator. Let's put this to the test. Let's uninstall the previous template. We'll just to check if it's just been deleted. Yes. Install the new template. Now it should be there. Let's do a dash help. There it is. And now let's create -r 3.8. This should only have the... Oh, there was still files existing. Let's remove these. And let's open this in code. So now we will be expecting that. In the test, we have the... Ooh, we still have the I incremental generator in here. It should be gone. Okay. I think we can exclude files. Let's see. I don't know by heart how, so I will look it up. Yeah. So by the example of from Oyas talk, we can be conditionally excluding files. So we will be excluding the incremental generator in the non 4.0 version, and we'll be excluding the source generator version in the 4.0 versions. Okay. So let's jump to the template JSON, where that's the wrong one. The template JSON of our source generator template. No. There it is. Where will be now, so here are our unconditional exclusions. Now we will be adding the syntax. Okay, this needs to be here another modifier. Okay, so we add another modifier object, which again has an exclude. Okay, what is there? There's a condition. There is a copy only, exclude, include. We have modifiers, and we could rename. Okay, but we will exclude. We only need to exclude one. But yeah, let's still make it an array. Maybe we add more later on, then it gets easier to add. We will be excluding the... Yeah, we actually need to exclude 2 files. We will be excluding the... Roslyn Generator template / incremental generator.cs, and we will be excluding from the test, the test project / the incremental generator test. But this needs to be conditionally, so we can add a condition if it is either, we have them down here, if it is either is Roslyn 3.8 or if it is Roslyn 3.9, then we will be excluding the source generator. Then we will be including the incremental generators. But the other way around, we will be excluding, if it is Roslyn 4.0, we will be excluding the my source generator and the my source generator unit tests. I just did it wrongly here. Okay. So if Roslyn 4.0, we exclude the source generators. If non-Roslyn 4.0, we exclude the incrementals. Let's give that a try. As always, uninstall the previous version. Oops, I did not mean to do that. I meant to see if it is still there. It is not. Install the new version. let's clear the existing template or generated code, and there we are. Create the 3.8 version, which now should only include, yes, excellent. We have the source generator without the post initialization there, and the test is also only this one file. So we should be perfectly able to do a .NET test on that. Error, the project file could not be loaded. Unexpected end of file while parsing. Okay, we have somewhere an error. Let's see. Oh, something bad with the comment. I will be removing this for now. This doesn't seem to go well with the templating engine. Still need to figure out how to install just the version we need, but we'll do that later on. Again, uninstall the previous version, see that it is gone, install the newer version, try to create after deleting the directory. There we have it. And we should be able to do a .NET test now. Works excellently. Now let's, it took some time. Yes, now it works. Let's delete it again. Let's create now Roslyn 3.9 for .NET test. While we are looking at the generated code, we now have the post initialization here. We also expect 2 files, so the test should be green, and it is. And now one more time for the 4.0 version. 4.0. Also, let's do a .NET test right away. And we can see that we now have the incremental generator here. And also the incremental generator test, and the other files are gone. And in here we have the wrong version. So this is wrong. The verifier is still using the iSource generator, not the incremental generator. So this will fail. Yes. We need to fix that. Let's jump to the template. Doing something wrong in the verifier. If is Roslyn 4.0. Do I have a typo? If it is not Roslyn 4.0, but if it is, it should use that, but it doesn't. Am I doing something wrong? Again, go to the Microsoft ASP.NET Core example. Let's have a look at the Web API program CS. It says if, it seems that that I require those brackets are required. The brace parentheses. Okay, let's add the parentheses. I will browse all the files. Here are no. Here we have parentheses. But it seemed to work here. So, that's interesting. Why does it not work for the 4. Do I have? I will word that. Maybe the JSON is wrong. The template JSON. If the Roslyn version is 4.0, that looks right. And then we define this Roslyn 4.0, 4_0. Where's my verifier? There it is. What does do I need for the negation? Does the negation need parentheses? What does the else? We have the else wrong. So we have an if, else, if. Well, let's put that into parentheses. Maybe we need these. But then let's add them everywhere for consistency. Okay. So when we go ahead and define is Roslyn 4_0 here, then it switches. And if we remove it, it switches again. Okay, perhaps this works now. Again, remove template, see that it's gone, install the newer version, clear our directory, create a template, have a look at the output. Incremental generator, and the verifier now uses the incremental. Perhaps so for the negation, perhaps we needed the parentheses. Now we have the incremental generator here, the empty one is here as well, and down there. Okay, now it looks good. Now the .NET test should succeed. And it does, excellent. So other than offering a more exciting example, which I will be doing off stream before I publish this package, also, yeah, before the next stream of this package, I will publish it. We need to fix the version, the package version, because we always currently use 4.1, the latest, but we don't want to do that because of compatibility. If we 3.8 is compatible with .NET 5 SDK, but 4.0 is not compatible with .NET 5 SDK. So for backwards compatibility, it would be correct to have the correct version, the minimum version necessary here to offer the broadest support of .NET SDKs. But I'm not sure. So the conditional approach failed. Maybe we could like parameterize this version somehow. I will again have a look at how Microsoft is doing it. Let's have a look at the CS Pro. So no, we did find this in the CS Proj, but it was working differently. We need to, perhaps we can do something with the template JSON. Perhaps we can, I still need to figure out this. Okay, but this is a later issue. Can we like create, I think the computed one only offers Boolean, I believe, because we have here don't really have a condition here, do we? Can we do here a condition? No. Can we? Well, we could be using. We could perhaps be using this Roslyn version here, but that's a little bit too little because we need it's not 0.8, it's 0.8.0 and 4.0.1. But it would be kind of weird if we would need to enter this. But let's go with that for now. Maybe we find a way to then omit this 0.0 later. So we should be able to use this Roslyn version here. Let's go to the template and say dollar parentheses Roslyn version. The question now, will this compile if we in our build? Oh, it does. That's cool. So this Roslyn version is not defined here at compile time because this is coming from the template via the template engine and should be replaced. So what version is resolved here? Or does it actually work? Let's have a look at the actual. No, it doesn't seem to work. We have a problem here. Okay, this does not work. So we need some fallback. Well, we could perhaps. Is this definable somehow? What if we add something as a what if we add a file that we then exclude from the package, like a debug file, where we could define our constants, but I don't think this works on an MS build level. Well, we could. I'm not sure if this is the nicest solution. Well, we could also say, okay, it doesn't. So we can't really use this project. Let's try that for now. So we can't like run this project actually because it's a template. A lot of stuff is replaced. Maybe if we just say, okay, it's a template. It doesn't build by itself, but it makes sense in a template context. So if we add this Roslyn version here, see if this is working. One more time. Remove it. See it's gone. Add it. Clear the output. And okay, now this shouldn't work anymore. Yeah, now we have to specify the full version. So if I say it's 0.0, this wouldn't work. It needs to be exact match 4.0.1. And let's have a look at what is generated. It's not resolved. Maybe we need to do this with conditionals. Yeah, let's do this with conditionals. Okay. That means we can from template JSON go back to the original experience with just this, and then we now define it multiple times. Okay, which I will be needing to look up again. Let's jump to the CS_proj of the web API template. Here is the condition. I will copy that. Okay, jump to the template. And let's go to the generator. And we will now be having actually this 4 times. And we have the condition if is Roslyn 3_3 8 3_8, sorry. and be pasting this condition in here. And if we have 3.8, we use 3.8.0. If we have 3.9, we will be using 3.9.0. If we are on 4_0, we will be using 4.0.1 and have the same also in the test project in here. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Uninstall, seed gone, install, clear output. And let's start with --help. And we say -r 3.8. And let's see what's generated. Oops, wrong tab. There it is. We have, let's open both CS projects side by side. No, top by down. Okay, and yeah, this looks good. This looks very good. So we have the 3.8 here and the 3.8 here, which means that we actually cannot use, let's verify that we cannot use the register for post initialization here. If we would go to the template and copy this code, now we must get a warning if we build this that this member doesn't exist. The name position callback. Does not contain a definition for register for post initialization. Yes. So the correct version is selected. And let's verify this for the others, 2 versions as well. We will be deleting the output. Generate now 3.9. Have a look at the output, and it's now 3.9 indeed. And now let's do a 4.0, but without deleting it. I think I can override it with a force flag, then it will just override what's there. And we now have 4.0.1 everywhere. Cool. I think other than having a more exciting example, other than printing out a file which only has a comment in it, is also supporting the different testing frameworks. So basically replacing that. And we will do this with by having a look at the, close the tab, at the Microsoft.codeanalysis.testing. So, doch, there it is. So we just use the MS test version. We should also use the NUnit and the XUnit version. So we will be adding another symbol to the template. We go to template JSON. Here are symbols. Let's have another choice. Let's call it test. What's a good name? Testing. How do they call it in their documentation? Testing framework, I guess, is the test framework. Test framework. We have a test framework. This will be of type choice. Oh no, this will be a parameter because the user is supplying it, and the type, the data type, is a choice. And the choice has choices, which is a collection of objects which have a choice. And the first one would be MS test. MS. Actually, let's have a look at how this is called in the SDK. Let's open another tab and we can do .NET new -- list. Have a look at how they are named here. So we can, offer this similar experience. So for MS Test, we have MS Test. The choice is MS Test. And the description would be use MS Test. We add another choice and yet another choice. Then we have for NUnit, use NUnit, and it should be the same short name, or it should be the same choice name as the short name from the template. And then the XUnit is here. Use XUnit. XUnit. But I think XUnit is actually XUnit.net, isn't it? XUnit. Yeah, it's called XUnit.net. Let's use the name here. Okay. And now we need, again, a couple of computed symbols. We will have use ms test. We will be having use NUnit. We're having use XUnit. Which of course is working if the test framework is MS Test, NUnit, or XUnit respectively. Okay, I had off by one error. So I start from the bottom, XUnit, NUnit, MS Test. Let's see if I did it correctly. We use MS Test if the test framework is MS Test. We use NUnit if the test framework is NUnit, and we use XUnit if the test framework is NUnit. Cool. And now we need to do some more preprocessor directives. What am I thinking about? Yes. So we go to the sysproj here. Now we need to make this selectable. So I say 1, 2, 3. Add the condition 1 to 3. If it says use MS Test, then we use MS Test. We use NUnit and use XUnit. Yeah, I think I put it like this. And one tab. No, correct tab, but wrong page. Have a look at the correct package name. We will be using NUnit here. And we'll be using C# XUnit here. Okay. Let's test NUnit XUnit. Okay. And now we need to be using the correct verifier. So if we are on MS Test. Oh, do I need to duplicate this now? I would like to have this kind of replaceable. Can we make this differently? I would like to have this like a variable that, because now I would need to duplicate this 4 times, 3 times, and then have to offer all the variants. That's kind of weird. Well, we could. How could we solve this nicely? Because I think a preprocessor directive is basically just a boolean. It doesn't really offer to set a value in it. I wonder if the templating engine supports something like this. Let's have a look at some example. Maybe some value is used somewhere directly. It's always this. How could we solve this? Well, if we, it's MS build, right? So if we, oh no, this is, how could we? Can we only do Boolean switches? Well, I will go with the copy-paste solution for now, and maybe I figure out a nicer solution later on. But for now, it would be like, so if it is not Roslyn for and if it is use ms test, then we have this. Else if use NUnit, then we use the, is it actually called NUnit verifier? I assume so. NUnit verifier. Let's have a look at the source. What is the Visual Basic version? I'm looking for the C# version. NUnit verifier. Okay. Is it else if? It's not else if, it's elif. Okay. Else if we use XUnit, then we use the XUnit verifier. Else if, okay, else, I need to do, okay, else if we just have use ms test. Oops. Or if we just have use NUnit, and then we just have an else at the end. Okay, ms test, NUnit verifier, XUnit verifier. Okay, this is not the most elegant solution, but should work for now. Maybe I come up with a more cleaner, less duplicate version later on. So let's test this. We remove the template, see that it's gone, install it, new. We clear the output and add dash. Actually, let's have a look at the dash dash help if the symbol now is available, or in that case the parameter. It is. Oh, I have uppercase here. Ah, yes. I still need to set the nice, because this is created by default. So we can go to the CLI, Json, add here another entry. It's called the choice is called test framework. The long version would be test framework, and the short name -t, and -t ms test would be a usage example. Okay, need to install it again, see that it's gone, install it, help. Cool. So we can say .NET new, Roslyn Generator -r 3.8. Perhaps I changed the dash out to a dash V version. It seems more intuitive. Dash T MS test. Okay, let's jump to VS Code. See what has been generated. I will make this a little bit smaller that we can fit more on the screen. We see that MS test has been resolved. Let's also open the generate. No, the test, the unit test, the verifier. It's the verifier which is now here significant. So at the bottom we have the CS proj. We resolved the MS test, and we use the MS test verifier, the iSource generator version. So .NET test should succeed. I will not be testing all 6 permutations now, but just let's do another combination with leading the output and trying to create a 4.0 with NUnit. So we now have the NUnit package and the NUnit verifier. This looks good. .NET test should succeed. And let's test one more combination. The 3.9 with NUnit was restoring .NET Framework. But we have some, instead of .NET, this package may not be fully compatible with a project. So is this, there is some .NET. I have missed something. Because for the test project, well, we're using the MS test framework and adapter. While at it, let's see if this is actually the latest version. It is not. 2.2.8 is the latest. Okay, so we need more conditionals here. This is true. Both of these are true if we use MS test. But they are untrue if we use some other framework. So I will be going in here. Let's create a .NET new NUnit example here. And let's use what we get from here. This is not what I wanted. Jump back to the open recent find solutions, Roslyn Generator template. Yes. No. Yeah. Boom. No. Here. The .NET Test SDK we already have. Now we need those two. Okay. And those two will be added. Let's see if those are the latest versions respectively. So I guess I need to save. No, they're not. So we have on the adapter, we have, actually, let's update it like so. Yes, please. Okay. And we will be using these if the condition is use NUnit. Check. And check. And also the same with XUnit, of course. So we'll be going here, do a .NET new XUnit, have a look at what packages are added in the XUnit version of things. We will be copying this over into our CS proj. Okay, we already have the test SDK. We need XUnit and Visual Studio Runner. Okay, so this is private assets all. I always like to shorten this like so to be a one-liner. Okay, and coverlet. Perhaps we could make coverlet optional. I will most likely later on add another option to add coverlet as well. So, and if we're using XUnit, Then we'll be adding the XUnit packages. But first, let's see if they are actually the latest versions. They are. Check and paste. Okay. So if we use XUnit, we have XUnit. Now it should be good. We clear our output directory. We uninstall. We see it gone. Install and use Roslyn 4.0 with NUnit. Let's do a .NET test here while we inspect the output. Yeah, that looks good now. So we have NUnit, we have the NUnit framework and the NUnit test adapter, and we're using the NUnit verifier in the incremental version because we was in 4.0. Now we have a namespace issue. Of course. I was not paying attention to that. Where is it? Yeah, this one. So do we actually have in here something generic? This is all okay, but for these files, we now need. Okay, we need to adapt this and that. I'm looking at the time. I want to again do somewhat of a 3-hour stream. So yeah, this should be doable in 10 minutes. Let's start with the incremental one first. Okay. Let's again. I will create the output. I will say .NET new NUnit and have a look at this file. Put this side by side. Okay. So how does NUnit look like? If okay. And in here we say. I guess this will be that. $if we use NUnit. Hold on. If we use ms test and if. Oh, let's do an else if we use NUnit and let's have an else. Okay. Else and the end if. Okay. What's end if region actually? Not sure if this actually. Let's see if this is working. If we negate this, does this look good? So for we need a test class for NUnit. For if now I'm thinking about if it would be simpler to have like 3 different files that we then exclude and include and not do it with preprocessor directives, but I'll stick with that for now. Maybe I change this later. If we use ms test, then we have test class here. Else if we use NUnit, come on. If we use NUnit, then we have, well, we could use the test fixture. And there is no for and if XUnit does not have an attribute on the class level, but we need a method here. So for test method. So for if we use ms test, we use test method. If we use NUnit, we will be using test. And else if we will be using, well, actually just else, because then we are in XUnit. And for XUnit, we will be using effect. And if. This should be cool. Now we need the same for the. Let's actually check. Also, no, what I forgot something. What did I forget? I forgot the using. If we are on NUnit, we'll be needing this using. Okay. Now let's create a .NET new xunit template, create that file. If we are on xunit, we will be using xunit. And yeah, we have the fact already. That's great. Okay, and we need to do the same for the source generator version as well. We just did it for the incremental version. Yeah, there's a lot of copy paste. I may try to find a different solution, but let's for now get it working. Okay. This may be it. No, it's not, because we need these as well. Test. Got these. Okay. And if okay, let's find out if I got everything. Remove the template. See that it's gone. Edit a new. Let's add the 4.0 with testing NUnit. Have a look at the output. How does this look like? Let's have a look at the test project. So we are, we are using the NUnit framework. This looks good. We are using the test fixture and the test attribute. This looks good. And we have the correct here. So this should be .NET testable. Yeah. And let's try one more thing with Roslyn 3.9 and xunit. Let's delete the output. Oops. Ja, doch, was good. Delete the output. Fire up. Have a look. We can do a .NET. We should be able to do .NET test already. Let's see if everything looks good. In the test project, we are using, no, here it is. We are using xunit and the verifier. So using the xunit verifier and the test. This is now source generator test with the post execute. This looks good. And we're also using the fact attribute from xunit and no attribute on the class. And xunit here. This should now succeed, and it does. Awesome. So there's a little bit of cleanup to do, and also find a more exciting example. And there is one last thing that I would briefly, the last couple of minutes, use to briefly explore the IDE experience. I'm wondering if this already shows up, or if I'm missing something. Let's have a look at all project types. Can we search for it if we search for Roslyn? There it is. And let's see how the experience is. Actually, where is this? This is in Roslyn. If I search for Roslyn here, ooh, that's cool. So the tag is used also for the Visual Studio. That's cool. Okay, perhaps there should be a description or something. And we can add a project name, we can add a location. Let's go next. And we can select a Roslyn version here. Now we cannot select the test framework. I fill my heart with sadness. No, let's find out. But we also could add an icon. I also added to the documentation. I just have a brief look at this. An example how to add an icon. Was this there? Somewhere we have the, or was it actually in the ASP.NET Core examples? There it is. There is the IDE host. So we basically have two different, or can have multiple hosts. We now took care of the CLI host who have to offer a nice experience there. But you could also create an IDE host, JSON. And I think this is then used by the by the IDE, for example, Visual Studio, or wider. And we will be switching to the template. Oops, that's the wrong project. Let me close that. Use the template. Add yet another JSON file in here. So we add the JSON file to the .template.config folder. JSON file is the Ide Host.json. I will copy this over from here. See what we can do. I will close it and open it so that the schema applies. It seems to be the VS 17.3 host. Okay. Order. I don't want to deal with order right now. We can set an icon. Okay, let's actually try that. I should have an icon somewhere here already. Resources. Yes, let's copy this icon into the direct template folder. And let's use that. Supports Docker? No. Supported authentications. Ports? Don't have that. Symbol info. We can let's remove one. And there is also a disable, so we'll not be doing that. Okay. So we can add symbol infos, maybe some description. Let's find out if we could. For the symbol with the ID Roslyn version, have a text or by default text. Do we need that? Use Roslyn version, and the description is what's a good description? Perhaps a higher Roslyn version or higher Roslyn versions require later .NET SDKs. Maybe this is always a bit of an information that there is that the version of the Roslyn SDK that will be using affects the compatible SDKs. Is visible true. We can also set a default value. 4.0. I would like to have 4.0 as a default value. And also add the test framework parameter. Let's say test framework. Select the test framework to use. Where the default, let's say XUnit in our case. Let's see if this now actually changes something. Let's remove the template. See that it's gone. Add it again. And I wonder if Visual Studio like picks this up immediately or if I have to restart Visual Studio. So this still looks the same, but perhaps I need to restart Visual Studio. I'll open another instance. Let's create a new project. Now there's still no icon, but I may have done something wrong here. So the icon isn't there. And this also doesn't seem to have worked. But maybe I really need to restart Visual Studio entirely. So I will close all my instances. Open Visual Studio, create a new project, and still didn't seem to work. What am I doing wrong? Let's have a look at it. Oh no, that's not the project I wanted to open. I wanted to open. Or do I maybe need to like uninstall it? Then start Visual Studio and then install so that it really picks up. I don't know. Let's try it. No, I uninstalled it. Now it should be gone. But maybe Visual Studio has a separate cache of this. I don't know. So it should be gone now. Yes, okay, it's gone now. But let's open the templates project. Maybe the scheme is not conform. Ooh, we could do one more thing because there's an analyzer. Yes, there's an analyzer. Let's show that. There is this project. Where is it? Analyzers. Yes, that's a tool which basically I think verifies the correctness of the JSON files. So we can install this globally. I don't want to install it globally. I want to install it locally. So let's go to this root of. I did not want to do this. Let's go to the root of the repository. And let's install this package, not globally, but locally to this repository. This fails because, yeah, we need a manifest file first. Yes, now we can install it. And now we should be able to .NET tool list, .NET tools list, .NET tool list. We can use templates. So let's go to the directory, cd tests, okay, of the, let's navigate there, cd templates, cd Roslyn Generator templates, okay, and .NET templates -- help we can analyze. There it is. Maybe this offers us already some issues. It does nothing because I think I need to pass a path. So let's use the analyze current directory. What's the help pages of folders? Search for templates in subfolders. Okay. Do I need to say -f? Ooh, and we do have a warning. Okay, in the template JSON, we are missing a description. Okay, but it's the template JSON where we have an issue, not the IDE host. But still, let's fix that. Let's add a description to the template JSON. Description. This project, this create a Roslyn generator. Okay, I will close Visual Studio. Install. It's uninstalled. Yes. Install the template again. Let's open up Visual Studio. And this will be now. Okay, so it seems that the issue previously was that I need to close Visual Studio. I need to open Visual Studio when it is uninstalled and then reopen it. Okay, Visual Studio is caching something there. Perhaps in a different IDE, this would be not such of an issue, but yeah. But the description is here that we just added. And we also have the icon. So this IDE JSON that we used seems to be picked up. Let's call our project name my channel. This is my generator. Next. There it is. That's cool. So we have the default wizards 4.0 and XUnit. We can select. Let's do MS test and 4.0. We also have the descriptions. The descriptions that we added. So that's really cool. Let's create this project. Let's see if this immediately works. And yeah. Let's build. It succeeds, and test is discovered, and test is also running, and it's green. Awesome. So we now created a 4.0 version, which is an incremental generator, and everything is right. We have the MS test of things. Did we select MS test? I hope we did. Did we? Not sure anymore. So is there one last thing that I wanted to try or show? That's actually it. So I have 3 to-dos. I have 3 to-dos. Let's jump to the template. Recent templates. We first want to, I'll do it in here. No, that's actually fine. That's fine, but this one is this is kind of ugly, difficult to read. To do, try to have a less verbose, less duplication, less verbose version with little duplication here. So I try to get rid of, yeah, basically well, maybe this is actually all right, but this kind of is weird. Yeah, that's the weird one. So I'll try to, maybe there is a nicer version than, because if another version would come along, like Roslyn 4.1, we would kind of need to duplicate this all again. This is not very nice. So I'll try to have this as a nicer version. And what I still need to do is the package. I didn't give this too much attention, so that this is actually something packable and contains NuGet properties and so on. So to do add NuGet properties, so that we can actually then pack from this template, basically right from the get-go, maybe adapting a name or something, but pretty much being able to publish this package then to NuGet for somebody else to consume this generator. And the third to do, I already wrote this down in the generator, to have a more exciting example here than just generating here, auto-generated. Maybe, yeah, something with an attribute. But this is actually a source generator thing, less of a template thing. So I will omit this for today. And I guess this is actually what I wanted to achieve so far. Before I publish this in around the next stream in 2 weeks, I will, yeah, fix those to-dos to have a nice generator. Okay, cool. Let's wrap up. Did we, I'm having a look if there's any other of the resources to check out. We had a look at all of this. Maybe we have fuget.org. You can see the diffs of the packages. So for example, we can have a look, what's the difference between Roslyn 3.8 and 3.9. We see that for the generator initialization context, the register for post initialization has been added. And also, what's the difference between 3.11 and 4.1 is that where's the interface, the I incremental generator is new. So this is how we can view the diff. And if there is for another version, let's see if there is between 4.1 and 4.0.1, if there is a something source generator related has been added. Generator driver, that's something we are not using. Incremental generator one step is also something we are not using. This may be used by tooling, because this is actually how the incremental generator is working internally by the caching, so it can mark already executed steps as modified if there is a change, or if it is cached, it can reuse the already calculated result. Okay, so this is new, actually. Incremental value provider extensions. There is a riff tracking name. I have no idea what this is. I will look this up in the future. And this seems to be the source generator. Yeah, so this is actually a new feature to source generators, or to incremental source generators. And okay, so that's that. And yeah, the next stream will be in 2 weeks. I think the time will be a little bit different because a DST switch, a daylight saving time, is coming up. But I will again post the timing before we start. And yeah, so we discovered what is .NET New, what are .NET New templates, how we can create and publish. Well, we didn't have a look at the publish step specifically, but how when it is published, so that we can consume it on NuGet. Templates, and we built our own template, which offers a Kickstarter, a nice start point for source generators. And I already know I will be using this a lot. And yeah, so perhaps if you would be, so I will be publishing this at latest 2 weeks. If you are using this, and if you could give me some feedback, maybe open an issue on GitHub if something is wrong or another feature would be nice. I would love to hear your feedback and improve this template. And yeah, this will be it for today. I thank you very much for joining. I hope I could either teach something forward, some knowledge about templates, or at least have a new template that may be usable by you. And yeah, this will be it. Perhaps I will see you again in 2 weeks. This would be awesome. By then, I will also have then finally the YouTube channel set up, so you could review previous sessions. And yeah, with that, thank you very much for staying a while and listening. Goodbye. So where's the stop screen? There it is.